In topic 2, we'll study a variety of different review topics. The first thing will be the properties of addition and subtraction. So I've listed a few properties here, and let's illustrate them with some examples. The zero property of addition and subtraction is that when we add 0 to any number or subtract 0 from any number, it doesn't change the number. The commutative property of addition tells us that when I add any two numbers, the order in which I add them doesn't matter. So 3 plus 2 is going to give me the same result as 2 plus 3. In other words, you can rearrange addition. However, let's just point out that there is no commutative property of subtraction because when I rearrange numbers when it comes to subtraction, I can end up with a different sign. There is also the associative property of addition, which basically says that when I group numbers, when everything is addition, it doesn't really matter which numbers I group together and add first. So whether I add together the 3 and 4 and then the 2, I get 9, or if I add the 2 and 3 to get a 5 and then add 4, I still get 9. It doesn't change anything. Now, one of the things that students sometimes get confused is the idea of like terms. We actually only need like terms for addition and subtraction questions. So if we're looking at multiplication or division problems, we are not typically looking for like terms. Like terms means that they have the same units and or variable parts. So for example, for part A, $3 and 2 hours, you can't add because they are not the same units. However, 4 hours plus 2 hours can add to 6 hours. For part C, 3x and 2 do not have the same variable parts, so we can't add these. But 3x and 2x can add. And when we add like terms, we add how many there are of each. So there's 3x's and 2x's. But we don't change the variable part itself. Just like we didn't get 4 hours plus 2 hours is 6 hours squared or something like that, 3x plus 2x is just 5x. So let's list a few words and phrases that indicate you're supposed to add. The word sum, added to, total, combined, and increased by are all terms that we use to indicate that we're supposed to add. And some words and phrases that indicate you should subtract would include things like minus, less than, and just be careful because you want to be careful. Sometimes we use less than to mean like one number is less than another number. In other words, we would use a less than symbol, but it can also mean like 2 less than 6 means that we subtract 2 from 6. So we're not really talking about the example where I say a number is less than another number. We're looking at something like 2 less than 6 means take 2 away from 6. Also decreased by, taken away, or subtracted from, among others. We want to compare minus versus subtracted from, and the order is important here. So 3 minus 2, we keep in the order it's given. However, something like 3 subtracted from 2 or 2 less than 6, you'll see that we rearrange things. So you have to think about what's being taken away from what. 2 is being subtracted from, or 3 is being subtracted from 2. So therefore, I'm taking the 3 away from the 2, which leads me to a -1. Now, one of the things your book does is it has a whole section on adding and subtracting signed numbers where we compare it to money. And that can be very helpful for a lot of students. So to see that section, you're going to want to look at pages 23 through 26 of your book.